Hey, Blue Table fans. I am going to give you an amateur's review of the Tau lineup. First off, right now, instead of a codex, you can just get these cards. I love them. I love them so bad. I don't like buying codexes. They are mostly just the same old background material. You know, you just don't need to hear that yet again. But the cards are awesome. They give you exactly what you need. They're at your fingertips. And I'm going to just give you my first impressions of Tau. I'm no expert. I did watch this like 2-hour video. It's two guys that I think are well known in the field. And they did a comprehensive review of like where are the different armies in terms of tiers. I don't really like that. I prefer casual play where the incompetence of the group in general just completely makes tiers irrelevant. But when you start getting more and more competitive, those little tiny advantages mean more and more and more. And so you end up with, you know, people looking for the meta, looking for the most powerful army. I don't care for it. Right now, apparently, it's Eldar and Thousand Suns. But of course, I can just change overnight with FAQs and balanced data slates, which is great. Like, I'm glad they're keeping up on the game, but there is a lot of rules churn, and it's tough to keep up on. Of course, a casual player can always just have casual play. So without further ado, let's take a look at Tau. So their rule is for the greater good, and basically you pair units up. One is the guided unit, one is the observer unit. And you pick a unit to be the target of the guided unit. There's actually a name for it. The spotted unit. Yeah, there you go. So basically they get +1 ballistic skill versus a spotted unit, -1 if they try and target something else. And then of course a unit can't be chosen to be, once they're chosen as a spotter unit, an observer unit. Sorry. As soon as they're chosen to be an observer unit, they themselves can't become a guided unit. So basically you pair them up, one of them gets an advantage. It's +1 of their ballistic skill. If they have marker light, they also get ignores cover, which is really a big deal. And these are both very important because they're ways of making their shooting better without giving them a +1. Because in 10th edition, you can only ever get a +1 or -1 on your to-hit roll. So if you have multiple things, you only get just the +1. But this makes their ballistic skill better, which is different, and that's really great. Then so basically the rules are on these cards, which I absolutely love. You can just have them in the game. You can look up your rule. It's right there. It's not hard to find. You're not going to have many cards out. Like out of this deck of, I don't know, 35 cards, you're only going to have like 10 or 15 of them out. Now there's detachment rules, so supposedly when the codexes come out or at some point in time you're going to have more detachment rules so you can pick different types of things. Now this is, for the Tau Empire, they only get Cao Yan. So the Tau have like two basic battle philosophies, Cao Yan, which is the defensive one, the hold back one, and then they have Mont Ka, which is very aggressive. I would have preferred to have seen the more aggressive one, because that's how the game is played. You know, it doesn't help you if you got to wait for something to happen. You need it now. Turn 1 and 2 really decide the game. So basically, in this one, you can't have Farsight and Ethereals. That's really no big deal, no big loss. So basically, from the 3rd battle round and onwards, you get sustained hits 1. And that is important because if you roll a 6, you get an extra hit. Basically, you don't roll, it's not an extra attack, it's an extra hit. And then if you are guided, you get sustained hits too. Now this, I can't tell you how enormous this is. Like this just makes your firepower go through the roof. But you got to survive those first 2 turns, so we'll see how great it actually is. So then you get war gear, and basically you get 1 piece of war gear, and that's it. And I think it goes on your warlord, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Mostly these are not awesome. I'm going to be taking Exemplar of the Cao Yan, which basically means for that leader's unit that he's with, you get the Cao Yan rule of sustain hits from the second turn on, so you get it a turn early. And there's a few others. I don't want to go over those right now, and then it's just blank on the back. Now the drones. Tau drones are not models now. They are tokens, meaning they have no bearing on the game. They don't exist, so you can't target them. They don't have wounds. You don't measure line of sight to them. They're just decorations, and they're meant to remind you of something. So basically, the drones are equipment given to the leader. So this guy in my battle suits thing, old one arm, that's going to get fixed, by the way. He basically gets the drones, and you just keep him there to remind you that he has them. So what do? First off, the old gun drone basically just makes your leader guy have extra shots. And it's kind of the same drone-y thing. He has 2 guns, he gets 2 attacks, but they are twin-linked, so he gets to re-roll wounds at strength 5, AP 0, damage 1. Now things with AP 0 get an advantage in this game, which is that basically if something is in cover and already has a 3-up save or better, their save can't be improved by the cover. So there you go. And I think that's that the cover can't improve it past a certain point either. Like a 1 always fails, something like that. Guardian drone, which I think only the Pathfinders have, is -1 to the wound rolls from things that are attacking you at range. Okay, I guess. Everything that shifts it by 1 is helpful. So marker drones play into the marker light thing. So if you're the observer unit and you have a marker light in you, you take away cover basically. And there's something else. Oh yeah. So if you have a marker light drone, that's a unit. Oh, it gives them the marker light keyword, so they get it at all. And then they can still observe even if they advance, which is like running. Missile drone, same thing as gun drone, it just gives you extra shots, it's great. Shield drone, it's weird, I see people talking about taking the shield drone and I'm just like, no man, take something that actually kills things. And now it just gives 1 to the wounds characteristic. And I think there was a there's a lost opportunity there. They could have made it where the shield drone basically took away a hit. It reduced the damage to 0, which a lot of things do. That's it, blank on the back. So there's your basic drones, which is great because now they're just war gear. You could technically just write it down on your sheet that they have it. I want to talk about stratagems. So here's the deal. Isn't it great to have a great stratagem? And I mean, that does something, because you don't get many command points. So these actually are more expensive to do now. Stim injectors give you 6-up, feel no pain for a round. And that feels like, I gotta tell you, that's really, if it were a 5-up, a 4-up, I would be super excited for this because that's just absolutely huge. Feel no pain is awesome. It basically, you take it after all your saves and you do it 1 at a time, so it's very efficient at getting rid of wounds. Okay, coordinate to engage basically means that the spotter unit also gets the advantages if they shoot at that same target that they were spotting. So basically +1 to their ballistic skill. And of course they have a marker light, they now ignore cover. So you don't need a marker light to be an observer unit. Okay, strike and fade, this is the absolute freaking best one. It's basically move, shoot, move. And it's great, but it's only battle suits. So I don't know, why did they make it not, it's like, it's good, up, not good. Like there's something at the end. Same with point blank and ambush. It's that each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack that targets an enemy model within 9 inches, improve the armor penetration of that attack by 1. So already, it's situational. You gotta be within 9 inches. It should be just improves the armor penetration by 1. That's it. That would have been a great cost of a CP. But no, it's got to be within 9 inches, which is, that's rough, man. When are you even going to use that? Super situational. And guess what? A restriction. You cannot use this stratagem during the first or second battle rounds. Okay, so basically, these are mostly garbage. Strike and Fade is good if you're running battle suits. Now, fortunately, the Cao Yan stratagems are both really good. But again, they're only usable by basic foot troops, the battle line troops, which are Fire Warrior Strike Team, Fire Warrior Breachers, Kroot, and Pathfinders. Other things can't. They're the only, it says Tau Empire Grenades Unit. Those are the grenades units. Other things don't have grenades. So basically, if an enemy charges you, they have to take a battle shock test. That's a morale test. And subtract 2 from charge rolls. That's a good one. Combat embarkation is if somebody charges you, you can immediately just embark in a transport. So Fish of Fury is back, if you ask me. They're okay, but nothing to be excited about. All right, Breacher team. These guys are absolutely freaking brutal, but they're super close range. They only have 10-inch range. They caught, for a unit of 10, it's 115. The support turret that they have is lackluster. It basically becomes a war gear. So if they don't move, then the leader basically can use the support weapon as a ranged attack. And it's not good. It's 5 up to hit, strength 5, no AP, 1 damage. 2 attacks. So they could have done something amazing with it. They could have had an ability. They could have turned it into like another unit that stays on the board and just like shoots things. They could have given it objective controlled 1, which is how you determine who controls an objective. They could have done a zillion things with it, but unfortunately, not so good. So, and there's a back to all of these. They do get their drones for, quote, free under the current system. So that's great. Just your typical drones. I'm going to be taking just gun drones all around. So many gun drones. Cadre Fireblade. Now, in 10th edition, leaders don't have a lot of auras. They usually attach to a unit, and then they give an ability to the unit. And his ability that he gives at 50 points, which is pretty cheap, is that they get +1 to their attacks for ranged things. Now with Breachers, that's the 2 great tastes that taste great together, because now they're 3 attacks each. So you're rolling 30 dice. Not bad. And we'll see how these work. So I have 20. We're going over the things that are going to be in my army. That may be all I'm going to reach on this video. I want to keep it under 19 minutes, because for some reason my camera splits the videos, which is lame, and I hate part 2s. So Cadre Fireblade, that's basically what he does. And then he has some decent shooting himself. Not a lot. He has 1 shot with his pulse rifle, but he does have his own, the ability applies to himself. So he would get 2 shots. Cold Star Commander. So he gives, when he's with a unit of battle suits, first off, he hits on 3-ups. So only 1 better than your regular Tau. And he has the exact same things. He's 125, so a battle suit is 65, so he costs 60 points to include him. And he's a little bit tougher. He's got deep strike like they do, but he increases the unit's move, and his move is 12 inches. So they all have 12 inches, and all their weapons have the assault ability, so that's fantastic. What I don't know now is if he gets their turbojets ability, making his movement on an advance 18, like automatic 6 on your roll. And he has to buy the war gear. He doesn't just get it, so he's kind of like a battle suit in that regard. Commander Shadow Sun. So at 140, I'm putting in Shadow Sun because she has an aura of reroll 1s to hit. And for herself, that's reroll hits because she hits on a 2-up. She's basically scary, and she gives a great ability and an aura, so she doesn't join a unit. She has an ability which is absolutely outstanding. It's called Lone Operative. And that means you cannot shoot her. Invulnerability at over 12 inches. It's crazy. Now, I saw a review where people were saying, oh, Lone Operative is all over in the Tau Codex. You know, that's their big thing. No, it's not. Only 4 things have it. Aun Va, which you'll never take. Shadow Sun, which is a good take. Ghost Keels, which are absolutely mad, and with that ability are absolutely insane. So that's a good one. And then the Sniper Team, which I would totally take and am going to take. So, but her drones are good. Her Advanced Guardian drone is -1 to wounds, so that's good defense for her. And that's only against range. And Command Link drone means if a nearby unit has target of a stratagem, on a 5-up you gain +1 CP. CP is a big deal. You can only gain 2 a turn now. Like, that's the maximum. No matter what you have in your army, you cannot gain more than 1 CP per turn. So twice, once in your turn and once in your opponent's turn. That's Shadow Sun. Crisis Battlesuits has yet. I hope these guys are awesome and worth taking. I have yet to go figure out online what other people are saying about them. I like them for 65. They've got some decent defense, especially with the shield generator. Toughness isn't as big a deal now, and strength went way up on things. So like things have strength 10, 12, 16, 20, strength 24, something like that. I mean, it's just absolutely bananas. And so like, yeah, it's, well, so yeah, the strength on things went up a lot. And with a Cold Star, these guys have advanced, so they can be like flying around the board and doing all this stuff. And they have Deep Strike, so that can have some shenanigans too. And they have just a ream load of different options. But it's basically, if you read it correctly, they just have 4 slots, and only 3 of them can be weapons. So you have to take one of their systems. And each guy gets a gun. It gets 2 drones. That's what makes Battlesuits bananas. Like, just so amazing. Because they just get all those drones. You know, it's not +10 points per drone. It's 65 points. That includes 2 drones. But the drones don't tank hits either. So that's kind of a big deal too. Devilfish. Now, I would love it if they designed the game so your basic guys and your basic transports were strong. Don't make people take them. Don't be like, oh, you have to have at least 3 troops choices. Just make the troops choices good, guys. And I think they did it this game. And that's because point for point, they have the biggest objective control, which is now a stat. How many points go on to your objective? And then you compare, and then you see who controls the objective. So the fact that your basic troops are cheap and have objective control too, it means that troops are going to be the ones taking the objective. Now, first off, well, the Devilfish's ability is rapid deployment. Units can disembark from this transport after it has advanced. Units that do so count as having made a normal move that phase and cannot declare a charge in the same turn, not a problem for Tau, but can otherwise act normally in the remainder of their turn. That's a big deal. That's kind of their alpha strike, would be to dump all these bodies behind an armored hole, and they can theoretically, I believe, can just shoot under it because of line of sight rules. So Fish of Fury might be back, guys. I'm real excited. So I'm definitely including 2 of these, 20 breachers to see what's up. Ethereal on a 5-up gives you an extra CP. He's 50 points, and he gives Feel No Pain to the unit that he's in. So he's strong. But he can only join the basic 2 breacher team, strike team. That's it. And he can have 2 drones. So I got to tell you, that does give him some firepower. Or just give him 2 shield drones, make him wounds 5. I don't know. I'm going to try different things. Ghost Keel. Oh, baby. Oh, you're so good. You have a cool name, a cool model, and you do a cool thing. Guys, that's the trifecta. That's the best it can be. Do I have time for another one? I'm not even going to get through this review. All right, so I'm not going to talk about his armament. He has it. He basically gets 2 guns up top and a main gun. He's 170, but he's got infiltrators, which is great. That's deployment, basically a deep strike before the game. Lone operative, which is it's a great ability. You can't be shot at over 12 inches. Doesn't matter. As far as I know, nothing in the game gets rid of lone operative. And so to give that not to a hero guy that's running around, but giving it to a vehicle with toughness 8, 12 wounds, that's great. And he has stealth, -1 to hit him. And he has stealth drones, which basically tank one hit. It turns the damage to 0 for one allocated attack. That's huge, enormous. So like giant thing that hit him and it has wounded, now you'd be like, okay, it's been allocated, the damage is 0. And he can do that twice. So that's amazing. And he has smoke. I don't know what that does, but it's defensive. And he can also shoot in a turn in which he fell back. There's nothing not to love about the Ghost Keel. I got 3 of them. I'm going to try 3. Stealth suits. I wasn't going to, for some reason I haven't liked stealth suits. But now I'm starting to like them. They're 75 points. They have infiltrators, that's deep strike before the game. Stealth, -1 to hit versus ranged. And forward observers. So each time when they're the spotter, they give the guided unit reroll wounds 1. That's fantastic. They're cheap, they're mobile, they can be where they need to be, their movement is 8, they have fly, so and at 25 points, guys, that is not bad. That is not, but you'll notice they have the exact stat line of a Space Marine unit. Toughness 4, save 3 up, 2 wounds. And they basically, hold on, can they just have war gear? Oh, that's only the leader can have a battlesuit support system. Lame. Can they have something that fall back and shoot? Oh, homing beacon. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's what you're going to get. It's once per battle, you use the rapid ingress stratagem for 0 CP. The target must be set up within 3 inches of the bearer's unit and not within 9 inches of any enemy. I can't remember what rapid ingress does. I literally just read it recently. You know, this is above time, so I'm just going to keep going. So let me just set this down for a sec. And we're going to grab our rules book. Blurp. And we're going to look at what rapid ingress is. Data sheets, ruins, deployment. Oh, I think that's exactly what I needed. Nope. Where are the, nope. I'm looking for, just hold tight guys, I'm looking for the stratagems. Hopefully I can find them. Oh, here it is. Rapid ingress. When end of your opponent's movement phase. 1 unit from your army that's in reserve. Your unit can arrive on the battlefield as if it were the reinforcement step of your movement phase. You cannot use a stratagem to enable a unit to arrive on the battlefield during a battle round. It would not normally be able to do so in. Guys, quit ending your sentences in prepositions. You say during a battle round in which it would not normally be able to do so. You don't say do so in. All right, anyway, that's the teacher coming out in me. I notice it all the time. And it's hopeless, you know, to say anything. But anyway, so yeah, you can basically deep strike at the end of your opponent's movement phase, which I think is maybe pretty cool. I'm not sure why that would do it. Oh, smoke screen. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit is declared as target. 1 smoke unit from your army that was selected as target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, all models in your unit have benefit of cover. And the stealth ability. That is really good. So that's another great thing that the Ghost Keel had, is it can use that stratagem. Stealth and benefit of cover versus range, that is a great defense. So, stealth battlesuits are pretty awesome. I'm really liking them for what they are, because they are great. They're relatively inexpensive at 75. These are your spotter units. They can be where they need to be. They have some attacks. They're going to be putting down some fire. And then the homing beacon can potentially bring in something deep strike. I don't think I'm going to have any deep strikers in my army. I like to shoot from turn 1. Okay, Storm Surge. This is your big guy. And the 3D print thing that I'm using has some models for this, which are amazing. I plan on having 3 of them. And basically, there's really not much to be said for this guy. He's 405 and actually does hit with some damage in close combat. The range is massive. So you've got, yeah, in fact, I want to talk about this. Pulse driver cannon, blast, heavy, 72-inch range. Now, heavy works differently in this one. It gives an advantage. So if you don't move, you get +1 to hit with heavy weapons. That's it. They're not -1 to hit if you move. They're +1 to hit if you stay still. And typically, the ballistic skill isn't changed. So they're great. They're absolutely fantastic. The number of attacks for this is D6 plus... No, this isn't the one I was looking at. Hold on. Pulse... Hold on, I'm looking for something here. Nope. Guys, that was not it. Pulse driver cannon is only damage 3. So it's not amazingly good. I mean, it's great, but pulse blast cannon. So this is 24 inches, focused, and it has 2 attacks. It'll be 3 up to hit because you don't move. 24, strength 24. So that's a tank killer. -6 means no save, and does 12 damage. Now, the thing is though, from turn 3 on, if this thing is still out there, oh my gosh, it now has sustained hits. So if you hit that 6, you get 2 additional hits. So this thing is just going to be blowing things up left and right. And it has an invuln save. Kind of a must. That's kind of the chief complaint you hear about things that are big, like you spend a lot of money on them, a lot of points rather. So that's basically it. It just has a lot of weapons and then 1 big gun. Now I want to talk about the Piranha. This is where they used this opportunity to make this unit into something amazing, something different, something interesting. First off, because there's no points cost to things, everything that have hunter-killer missiles should have them. So my devilfish each have 2. These piranhas each have 2 hunter-killer missiles. But they're really cool ability. They're 55 points, so they're super cheap. Basically, nothing in the game is less than 50 points typically. It's weird to find something that could just sit back and take an objective that's like 30 points. I would love that. Drone harassment tactics. At the end of your movement phase, select 1 enemy unit within 12 inches of this unit. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test. So that's pretty cool. Drone harassment. Tossing in a couple of piranhas as individual units to do this, plus have 2 hunter-killer missiles, plus they can be spotters, and they're fast at 14 inches. That makes piranhas so flavorful and useful. And like at 55 points, man, these guys are going to get their money back. Like just with the 200 killer missiles, they might peel off 55 wounds on average. It's just awesome. Whoa, it doesn't say hunter killer, it says seeker missile. Let's see, 48 inches, 1 shot, 4 up to hit, 14 strength, -3, D6 plus 1 damage. That's fantastic. Last one, I think this is the last one I'm looking at. Yeah, fire sight team. So it used to be there was a guy on a 40mm base, and then he had 3 of these like sniper rifle drones. Now drones are just tokens, so the only guy that matters is this guy on a 40mm base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a smaller battle suit, and I'm going to put the 3 sniper things on that one guy, because the drones don't matter. You don't draw a line of sight to them. They don't count for charging, nothing. This guy's 70 points, and the long shot pulse rifle is okay. He gets 3 shots with it that represent the drones that he controls. 4 up, strength 5, -1, damage 2. But the thing is, he's a spotter unit, and he has lone operative. So he can sit back there, and as long as nothing, you can just put him in a commanding position, and it's great. And he has stealth and infiltrators and precise targeting, so you can pick out characters in a unit. Now, this one guy isn't going to reliably kill a character. He'd be lucky to get 1 damage 2 thing through, but doesn't matter because he's helping. just by being a spotting unit and being cheap. And he has OC3, pretty sweet. You can just keep him back on an objective, hopefully in a good position to see things in a firing lane. And he's used. I see this as a very useful creature. After this is all the stuff I decided not to take. And there's and the Kroot are pretty lackluster. Commander Farsight is actually really good at 120. He's actually cheaper than your regular battlesuit commanders. And so, I don't know. Kroot, Aunval, like I don't get this guy. Maybe somebody can tell me why he's even any good. Aunsheet, guys, it's a lost opportunity. They could have given these guys some synergy. They could have made them into something. They could have given them some cool thing where you'd want to include them, but they didn't. Dark Strider, still figuring him out. Long Strike, maybe a better Hammered Head. Strike Team, I'm going back and forth on what kind of basic Fire Warriors I want. Kroot Carnivores. Kroot Carnivores aren't Tau. Oh, no, they are. Sorry. I totally take that back. Oh, and they have grenades, too, as I mentioned. Krutox Rider. Vespid Stingwings, giant missed opportunity. They just gave them the same sort of uninspiring ability they had last time. They're not particularly cheap. If they had just made them cheap, great. Do that. You know, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Kroot Hounds. Broadsides, definitely going to have some of these. And they have a weird ability. They get 4-up save versus 4-up feel no pain versus mortal wounds. That's kind of their thing. That might actually be good. Definitely going to have Riptides. I just don't have them right now. Hammerhead looks pretty good. Some people are saying it sucks. I don't know. Skyray. Oh, it doesn't have 6 missiles anymore. It just has the rack. So he just keeps firing them. So that might actually make this unit good. I don't know. It looks okay. But points are everything. At 160 points, don't know. Flyers, don't know. These are interesting. The little, whatever they are, the like terrain pieces, the Tidewall things, shield line, drone port, and gun rig. They look like they might have some potential. Like this one's only 85 points. It could be cool. Still an OC of 0, but it does have they'll have a 4-inch move. And to me, that seems really weird. And as far as I can tell, they can still advance. And so basically they turn these things into transports and they can carry 11 guys and just basic warriors. And I don't know. I see potential here. I'm too dumb to know it. The drone port shoots everything within 20 inches. Any eligible target gets shot by the drone, 8 attacks. It's just chip damage, but if you had 3 of these, it could add up. It could add up to a lot. Like everything gets hit with these. And plus you can have guys on them. So you can add, that can shoot just as well, but they can't be shot at because they are embarked on it, if I'm correct.